I'll be here all week, folks. Hungry, I am hungry. Table, table, here I come. I could eat a goose moose burger, 15 pickles and a purple plum. I could eat 3 bowls of goulash, half a pound of whizzled wheat. I could eat a peck of poobers, and I'd really get to work and eat. Oysters, noodles, strawberry strudels, chocolate mush mush, super sweet. Lamb chops, wham chops, watermelon whoosh whoosh. All the stuff that I could eat. Deep dish rhubarb, upside down cake, I could eat a flittered flume. Hungry, hungry, I am starving. Give me those box of dots, here I come.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Mclouglin, and this
is Paul Robertson.
We are here
again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here tonight to have the Riffs and Rhythms podcast. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, clearly I did not get the memo.
Sun's out, guns out. Usually you're the one who's sleeveless.
Everybody's wearing black in here.
Sleeveless in Seattle.
But me.
Oh, you didn't get the memo.
No, but everybody's actually a lot more dressed up than I am.
That's true. I can see your lighthouse tattoo. I didn't know you had one of them.
Yeah.
It's the only thing long and cylindrical about you.
That's why you subscribe to the Under Table Cam on our Only Kevin's webpage.
Yep, we have an under table cam.
Disgusting.
Where was that from, bro?
That was with a Scot. That was disgusting in a Scottish way.
Did that come through your speakers or
That's
through the head?
Disgusting.
There you go. Okay. Are you doing sound effects for the audience now too, Devin?
It is disgusting.
So the ghost of the ox here behind the scenes is still trying to figure things out after how many episodes here.
Wait, we have sound effects like there's speakers in the room that are playing the.
It sounded like it.
No,
he doesn't know. He doesn't. Oh, that's
right.
right.
A little room. It had a little room reverb on it. That's what it was.
Oh, it's still. Oh, it's coming through the headphones. Okay, I wasn't sure if he's maybe ODing on his NyQuil over there. He's still sick from last week. Red Bull and NyQuil.
Just so you know.
Whoa.
I'll take care of you, Paul.
Oh.
Those things that you're hearing, they are coming through the headphones.
What?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's good to be back here on the podcast and the show. So.
Yeah. How you been?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good there. So
how's the laminate flooring holding up?
It's holding up good. Nice little room now at the house there. So I did reorganize some stuff, and the drum kit did go back in the room. I do have one of the other kits that I took from here back to the house. That's got all.
So you could stack it up somewhere else for a change?
No, it's actually not stacked. It's actually set up.
No kidding.
Right. So this is the one with the mesh drum heads, so you can kind of practice quietly.
Yeah. See, Paul was complaining about how sore his knees are, so naturally I assumed that he did some flooring.
I did a real good job.
I'm sure.
I think there's an insult or double entendre somewhere in there.
No, triple maybe.
Thanks for tuning into this podcast here. So check out us and the B3 Podcast Network with all of our shows, and you can check out Apple, Spotify, Pandora, and all the other great places with our show, Drums and Rum Show.
So we're really on all those platforms?
We are on all the platforms.
As part of the B3 network?
That's correct. We're on.
So Apple, Spotify,
yes, Pandora, YouTube,
Pandora,
yep,
MySpace,
yep.
No,
I don't know. It's my face.
Where else would it be?
So it's a whole bunch of places. Do you want me to rattle?
Are there any others? SoundCloud?
I don't think SoundCloud.
Podcast Utopia?
That's right.
Is that a thing?
Podbean.
Let's see. Let's see where all the places here that we actually are out on.
Tidal?
Sure.
That would be epic.
I don't know. I can't look at this stuff. I don't even have my glasses on.
Oh my!
I can't see shit.
Paul, show him your tattoo.
So,
it's also the brightest thing he's got going on.
yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, that's a lighthouse, all right.
I've got it.
You need.
I was choosing not to.
Oh, because
Let me
that
get my
makes you
scene-
look cool
my
to
scene
try and
item.
squint at your
Yes,
phone.
Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out there, bud. So. So I don't know.
You don't need glasses. Your arms are suddenly too short.
I can't see where all this stuff goes on this app.
That's what she said.
See what I have to do with here. So yeah. So all right. So there's some of the apps, right? Some of the apps on the latest episode there that we had out there.
Okay.
Cool. So Apple Podcasts, Apple iTunes,
Why
Pocket
does it say
Casts,
web browser?
Overcast. Well, that's how people can listen to it. Like there's
Oh, no, on
there's a
their
website.
There's a website called Web Browser.
Well, it's also embedded in our website too. If you ever go to our website, Kevin, at riffsandrhythms.com, you
we
actually
have a
see
website. I know. I've been there. It's okay. Wait, what does it look like?
It looks like a website.
It's on. That's why it says Web Browser as a place
Player
you can
FM.
see us.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, we're on a whole bunch of platforms there to check it out there too. So obviously,
Player FM, Overcast, Pocket Cats.
yeah. Sirius actually. Our
Pocket Casts.
we actually are you can find us also on the Sirius app as well too.
That's pretty serious.
Seriously, yes. So
Meeting with Stern?
some of the shows that are on there that actually do pretty well is our fellow friend Brad. Again, there I'll say get it out of the way.
You
Right?
almost
So-
beat your record there.
But yeah,
Oh, now you look very hood. Good job. Sleeveless and flat brimmed
That's right.
ball cap. Yeah.
thank you for the sponsorship there, Brad.
Good job.
But yeah, his show actually, the Jams and Cocktail Show, does pretty good actually on the satellite because I think he's been doing some shows, tributes about Motown stuff. But anyway, check out their show as well. They've got a fun show, a little different style than ours. But
Speaking of a fun show,
Watch this one first.
yeah, speaking of a fun show, check out
We
Ghost in the
have-
Aux.
Look at that too.
we have a band here that plays puts on some fun shows. They're actually quite fun to watch.
Pronounce it. You better say the name correctly, or they said that they would thrash you if you
the
fuck up their
Balloon
name.
Addicts.
The balloon.
Sure.
No, really, we've got the Lunatics back here from last week. We've got Robin and Dave. And so, Dave, I have to ask.
Yes.
Where did you get those shoes?
Oh, well, let's see. Those are my magic shoes. Mama said they'd take me anywhere.
I don't think that shiny could get any shinier than that. Look, hold those things up for the camera.
Stick them right up to the camera there.
Put your foot right up in the
There you
air.
go. Yeah.
Oh, wait, you
There
gotta,
you
you,
go.
gotta, you gotta get the shine. You gotta get the shine going on.
There you go.
That.
Flat feet and all.
We got the foot cam action going.
Are they like 13s or something?
No, they're not.
Those things will probably help you swim
no,
faster.
but you know that saying about big feet?
They wear big shoes.
It's true.
Yes.
Anywho, no, that's not quite 13.
Do not come.
No, that's not. Where did I get these shoes? Well, I spent some weeks in Paraguay, and I'm walking down the street with a jar full of yerba mate, a hot yerba mate with a glass straw, and I'm collecting Pez dispensers. And let me hold on.
That's the biggest Pez dispenser I've ever seen.
No, this isn't. Oh, please.
This is I think. Is this the first time somebody brought cereal on the
I'll
podcast?
finish the story.
Are you going cuckoo?
He's feeling his roots.
Is that coming through? Well, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh,
I can see where the name comes in now.
hold on. Listen, growing up, Cocoa Puffs. Do you know the name of the bird?
No, he's the cuckoo.
Sonny.
That's right, Sonny. Sonny's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
So,
Oh man!
So, ladies and gentlemen, this part of the podcast is brought to you by General Mills.
if you don't love your children,
anyway,
you should love them with General Mills foods.
hold on a
That is
second. Hold
such
on.
against truth. I'd have
Make sure you cut out the UPC codes to get the free.
The record that you cut out and you played on your 45, that you like remember those?
Oh, I remember that.
What group had the most cutout records, and it was on the back of Post Alphabets? Can you tell me what group? it
Kiss.
was? No, this was before that. Well, it wasn't before, but they didn't have that.
What? The Bay City Rollers.
No. This was on Alphabets, and that's kind of giving it away.
Alpha Bits.
Yeah, well, there was
Jackson
a record.
5?
That's correct. ABC.
ABC.
You got it, sister.
Wow.
Anyway, I digress. Is that the word? Okay. Anyway.
Yes.
So where I'm in Paraguay looking for Pez dispensers, and I'm walking around drinking the yerba mate with the hot
Glass
drink and
straw?
the glass straw with the hot.
All right, but Dave, when you give us the story, can you include a little bit of detail?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm walking, and I see a building that says myopic bird watchers. So I go in, I see a gentleman in the back laying there, and he's, a true blue spectacle. Thank you, Barry. True blue spectacle. The miracle is you. But that's not what I'm talking about. He was a catatonic, is what I'm trying to get at. So he had shoes, and he was selling shoes, and he had two pairs. One was Keds, and one were these. And that's how I got the shoes.
You got there just in time then. Otherwise, you'd be wearing Keds.
Right, Keds. So that's how we got them.
Good job.
But thank you. They are magic.
Those things are just about as shiny can get.
Yeah. Yeah, and I wear them sometime. That makes everything, kids.
You know, when we're setting up in the dark, I say, Dave, bring out the shoes, and he just lights up the stage, and we can finish setting up.
Right?
It's like,
Yeah, we drop a pick.
you know,
You can't lose your picks on the floor because those things
I
reflect.
see them everywhere.
and you just don't want to be on the receiving end of those
Like
shoes. I'll
back
tell
in the
you
old
that.
days, would you polish your shoes so you could see up skirts?
Well, I was thinking of that, but
I stopped wearing
love-
skirts about a year ago.
I noticed you do not wear a skirt on stage. Now I know why.
No mas.
But I know shoes make a lot of things good, especially live performance. I mean, it goes back a long way. So I like the dress shoes and stuff like that. When the flat feet hurt, because I do have flat feet with no arches, thank you God, and I will wear socks. So I'll
That's
wear,
extravagant here in
yeah,
Florida.
or I'll wear my feet.
But Dave, when you bought these shoes in Paraguay, like all kids, when you're growing up, you want to wear your new shoes out the store. Did you wear them right out the store? What did you do with your old pair of shoes?
I left them there with a catatonic.
Okay.
Yeah, with the gentleman. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's what I did.
Paying it forward.
Right.
That's the story with the shoes, but I do like them and I have a good time.
So
in
what's the
them.
trade-in value on a set of used guitar player shoes?
I have no idea.
You
Kevin.
just gifted them?
you just leave them there. Yeah,
Oh.
you can't take them both. So
Okay.
I'm drinking the yerba mate in one hand. And I got to get rid of the pair of shoes. So this is it, man. This is it, kids. But yeah, thank you.
That song,
For asking.
that almost sounds like a Warren Zevon song.
Yeah, right?
Hey,
I saw a blues guitar player in Paraguay buying blue shoes, and his hair was perfect.
look what I got for you kids, man.
Oh.
This always helps everything.
Oh,
nice.
look at that.
Oh.
What you got going on there?
Some dots.
Yeah, try that.
Watermelon dots. and
Okay,
color?
look at
You don't bring me flowers.
Nice.
and
Tropical
you-
dots.
This is a first. See?
It's because I don't eat them.
No, this is great.
Sure.
We have never been gifted food on this podcast.
No, hold on. Wait. There's a game on the back.
There is.
Mine has a record on the back.
Oh, you got the Lunatics record?
Yeah, look. No, wait. It's
It was a
a
limited
It's
edition,
some
by the
sort
way.
of brain-teasing puzzle, actually.
Oh,
It's
you
the same
gave-
thing.
You
It's
got the wrong
it's a
one.
record and a brain-teasing puzzle.
it's-
all in one.
It's a watermelon dot is traveling at 72 miles an hour going east, and a tropical dot is traveling at 92 miles an hour going west.
They're never going to connect.
Where will they meet?
In your mouth.
Oh.
I bet you say that to all the
Ayo.
guys.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Now I'm suddenly unable to
That's
pierce plastic.
childproof.
Yeah.
We'll be here all night
Apparently
then.
not, because I'm in.
We will be here all night.
That box is
Oh, my
kicking your ass, man.
I like to get in here and pull one out.
No comment. Does it pair well?
That's what I was looking forward to, actually.
Dots?
All right.
Is it good and gummy?
That could have just
Oh,
been
that's sacrilegious.
a complete waste of alcohol.
Oh, hey, look, he's a mixologist now.
Oh, look at that.
So that's a good segment for my bar story that I left us off with last week. So I went to the local Facebook group and posted and said, hey, local podcast looking for somebody who can banter and make some drinks and kind of hold their own.
What is this like? Did you put us on like
Grindr?
Hinge or something?
No.
We've been getting swiped left all this time.
Yeah, that's right.
OnlyFans?
OnlyFans, yes. But no, that was on the local Facebook group, Jupiter Locals.
I went to OnlyFans looking for an air conditioner, and they said no, OnlyFans.
But
Yep.
Devin, what's going on over there?
Didn't earn it that one.
You don't have the sound of crickets to.
Yeah, that was the worst ever. Sorry about that. So anyway, you're pimping us out on some sort of website, on Craigslist,
Right.
Facebook Marketplace,
Something like that.
some high-end place for commerce, no doubt.
Hold on.
Dots and dots are so awesome for it.
I think he was on humantrafficking.com is what he was on.
I was trying to put you up. I was trying to sell you. So yeah, so I posted out there.
I'm cheap, actually. So
I wasn't trying to come out the gate and say,
Thank you,
"Hey,
Dave. These are good.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Podcast seeking a female to hang out with two old guys to make drinks and
Yeah,
hang
because
out."
you've been running that for months. It didn't work.
Well, that's why I didn't say that. So again, I thought that would have come off pretty creepy because it's like, all the other Nigerian princes trying to scam people and whatnot. And
Do you like dad jokes and spanking ice? We have your dream job.
and is your name Melody?
That's a prerequisite.
What?
Melody.
Well, we always talk about the riffs and rhythm. Everyone always brings up what about the melody?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, harmony, melody. Hey, more the better. Yeah, double your pleasure, double your fun. So, but yeah, so I ended up taking down a post because it was like guy commenting. It was like, oh, somebody recommended Bryce, another musician. I'm like, nah, all right, I'm going to delete this post because this ain't going how I wanted to. Because I didn't want to come right out of the gate and say, no, we're looking for a female.
Hooters is closing, so we should have a flood of applicants.
That's true. That's true. We don't ask for much, just some ice and some bourbon. If that's the extent of cocktail making, it should be easy.
I don't know.
Anyway,
They
so
certainly
that was,
would
You should do a whole episode that's auditioning people.
auditioning. Oh, there you go.
behind the scenes.
Let me try some of these.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's my bartending story. So if you know of anybody who wants to hang out, and so we are, technically we should be actually all trying to audition.
I know you should not be age restricted. I mean, I'm sure all
Well, they
ages
have
are welcome,
to serve alcohol.
but so they have to be over the age of
80.
80 months.
We're looking for experience.
I think I know your market you can tap into.
Yeah, but there's no longevity in that market.
You're not suggesting.
but-
Are you trying to throw your name in the hat?
Are you saying I'm 80?
No.
No. He's looking for an old lady with Alzheimer's, so when she asks for her pay, he'd be like, I just paid you, don't you remember?
Dude, that's fucking brutal. Yes, this is exactly what the show's about. You got to be able to hang against
No
this.
self-respecting professional would subject himself to this kind of torture.
Hey,
Yeah. Oh.
little dots over here.
All right, try it.
Right now it's would be a. Oh.
Now he's getting nervous.
No way.
Yes.
Goodness gracious.
Came up short.
I couldn't even do it myself.
You want to try?
No, my aim is not that good, but I'll try it anyway.
That's watermelon. It's like schnozberry.
Yep.
Schnozberry.
What's that from?
Wait,
What?
Well, she's got to get in position.
Careful, it'll stick to your tooth.
Oh, damn. Just busted a.
Okay, what are you gonna do with it? What are you
I
gonna
hit her in
Yeah.
the tooth.
do? Oh, go ahead.
I heard that.
I'm sure the floor is clean.
Of course.
Hey, due to the tariffs, I hear that 5-second rule is now 7 seconds.
Oh my.
You know what? Are you seriously looking at the floor?
No, I was just looking.
I'm totally digging these dots, man. This is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, man, it's good for you.
It's
Just,
part of
make
part
sure
of
you
the
brush
immunity
later.
building.
Brush your
That's
teeth.
right. That's right.
So thank you.
Yeah.
You guys were my health care plan for 2025.
Well, Robin, if you would like to be our bartender for the show, you would be an addition to the show in a very positive way, and that would be awesome. But there's no pressure.
Okay. No.
Well, we got to get you set up. We don't
Okay.
have a bar.
Yeah.
A bar.
Yeah. If you ever have bar,
Have bar.
We'll travel.
That bar.
We got to set up a bar then.
We can do that.
All right, challenge accepted.
All right. So,
We set up bar. Robin bartends.
all right. So enough of shenanigans are going on here. So yes, Dave, thank you for bringing. So yes, we've had some guests bring their resumes. We've had some guests bring some CDs. We've had some guests bring posters. We've not had food yet. Shit, we don't even think we've actually had guests even bringing us booze yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
hint,
so-
hint.
Or money.
Or money, yes.
Or money.
Or money, yeah.
But you want to keep it on the up and up, right?
Of course,
It's strictly above the table.
Yeah, because they cut our funding from the government. Doge just cut our podcast funding, and hell, they cut it from PBS, and that's like legitimate.
Yeah. Well, they always try to cut PBS money.
Yeah. So,
It's not PBS money. It's the National Endowment for the Arts.
what kind of endowment are we talking about?
Well, the arts are well endowed from
Okay.
a governmental standpoint until they get a chance to change it.
So,
Yeah, boy.
so anyway, let's get back to music talk because there's a lot going on here. So last week you guys talked about how you guys met and formed the band during COVID, pre-COVID, and post, and so forth. And but let's go back a little bit ways here. How did you? What are some of the influences that got you into music, or really has formed your music style that you right? I know it's blues, but again, you guys do have your styles of music that you.
Well, we understand Robin's inspiration was to learn how to sing the blues to get her ex-husband
How to
back.
blues.
Right? You had to learn how to blues.
Wow.
It was an expansion of my awareness that I was willing to take on. My parents never played music in the house.
Oh my!
Never. But they had every original Beatles album and Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass and the Dave Brubeck Five. Like they were all there in
Good-
the
good
cardboard box, right? And we would sit, my brothers and I was the oldest and I had two younger brothers, and we would sit in the basement, which my dad finished off, and with that multi-plaid shag carpet and the dark walled paneling.
Yeah.
It was like the groovy room with the pool table, ping pong table, and I took piano from kindergarten to 6th grade. Cannot read music. 3 years of flute. Believe it at that. And then I started playing guitar when I was 12, and my dad brought me a classical guitar. He didn't know. I said I wanted to learn how to play guitar, and for whatever occasion, birthday and Christmas were the same. I got a classical guitar, and I was like, "Oh no, this is not what I want." And he was like, "Well, what do you mean?" I'm like, "I want like an electric guitar." And he's like, "Girls don't play electric guitar." Yeah, right. Girls still doesn't play electric guitar, but I have a lot of them.
early life trauma programming.
Yeah, totally. So I first learned how to play electric guitar when I was 12, and I took a couple of years of that. And then I had to date my way up through the chain after that. Like, oh, you play guitar? Hey, so do I. And, learn free lessons.
You dated your way through guitar lessons.
Kinda.
Smart plan, actually. I would have done that if I knew you could do it back then.
Missed opportunities.
Well, I wasn't nearly
There's a lot of
savvy
there's a
in
lot
these
of dudes you may
areas.
have to date then.
Well,
Then it becomes collateral damage because you're a guitar teacher. But anyhow,
well, anyway, you were saying.
no, it's just so music has always been in my heart, but just didn't really know how to get around it. Being a girl, liking the music that I liked, and I had a brother who was a drummer, and so I remember being upstairs in my room and hearing through the air ducts like, oh, that's Led Zeppelin, because you could just tell from the rhythm, or oh, that's Rush, So anything that was drum centric was in my wheelhouse, and so music's always been a part of it, but didn't really know. It wasn't encouraged in my house.
Interesting.
It was not, it was like we had pianos, we had all the instruments, but it was never really encouraged. So coming down to South Florida and realizing, wow, they have live music everywhere. This is really cool. It's falling into that, allowing it to happen. And Dave just like walked in, and it really was like, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, me? Okay. Working around that.
All right.
So I didn't have a lot of like influence. It was just kind of something that I just slid into.
So do you think because of that, did that drive you? You think because it was a saying, oh, it's not for you, but it made you want it more?
Yeah, but I was like busy raising, like raising children and like
No, when
doing,
you're like maybe when you're younger.
oh, when I was younger, no, I didn't know I was a girl, and I didn't know I wasn't a musician. I didn't know that I wasn't. And then when I started being told that I couldn't do this, like, what are you going to do in college? I want to do art. I want to do music. And then I got that over my dead body. Am I going to send you to college to become a musician or an artist?
What?
Pick something else. Pick something else. And so it took me till my 50s to pick something else finally. So I got really, really lucky when I met this guy in this community and this music community down here.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Rock on. So being in Florida was what sparked your musicalness.
Yeah. Having the opportunity to literally walk from bar to bar or short drive.
Right. So that's a matter of going through. I think, just a lot of folks. Some folks are very fortunate to be able to be around music growing up, being influenced, and then there's some others like my folks were heavily grew up and
Immersed.
So much from my upbringing. It's like every kid's got a station wagon story. Listen to the oldie station, and growing up in the 80s, and just that's how I got exposed to it. Now, neither of my parents played music, any instruments, but I had an interest very early on, right? So it was somewhat, it was like they let me do it, but yet never really kind of was a, pushing, more to stay on it though.
I'm laughing because
Speaking of music,
that's my alarm for me to take my progesterone. And I have a song about it. Take your progesterone, take your progesterone. Yeah, it's an alarm. Should I go?
You want to take a break?
I'm going to go turn that off.
Okay, so
are you taking your stuff?
all right, so Dave, where do you come from? Where you all? What formed you in your music upbringing, journey, exposure?
Very vibrant in the family. My mother was big into. She was an organ player. She even did a song in 1950, and it was a lot, swing based. And so I grew up around the organ music and the piano music. Man, I'll tell you. I mean, my first vaccination was with a record needle. You know what I'm saying? So it's completely just colorful. Kaleidoscope of music. So, I have an older brother. He's 16 years older, and an older sister, about 14 years older. So I was able to listen to this stuff, after, it was handed back down. So, but listening to my mom's music and my older brother and my sister, it was all. I was getting the leftovers of the 60s, and, we had a great source of music, and that was the giant console that everybody had, with the TV and the big RCA with a Jensen speaker and the tubes, man. And I would, I can remember very vividly sitting in front of that, watching this little green light pulsate on the bottom part of the speaker, that RCA console, listening to Sly Stone and my brother, that's how I heard British blues for the first time was, Yardbirds and everything from my brother and Cream, who, to this day is just one of my favorites. And that just kind of morphed into other things. And as my sister got older, I was listening to the 70s, the Grand Funk. And I got turned on very quickly, like by the first Alice Cooper album, just looking at it and looking at these guys, which then, the theatrical side of everything just completely blew my skirt up. And are you good over there?
I'm good.
Oh, you want to sit down?
No, I like listening to you.
Oh, you like listening to Okay. Got into it that way. Just listened to everything. Engelbert Humperdinck, Charlie Rich on the piano. And so my mom played the clubs in South Florida, so I could hear her and everything. So it was all, the leftovers of the early '60s adult contemporary. Burt Camford, Billy Vaughn, some of these characters that to this day I will punch in Pandora and I'll listen to those instrumental, like elevator type music.
Right.
Perez Prada and some of these guys, Herb Alpert, Tijuana Brass was common to listen to that. And then I could go, and turn on Alice Cooper or listen to the Tommy album or something, at the ripe old age of 5. So, it progressed into that. A drum set was bought for me when I was about 8. And I remember my brother bringing home the Boston album. And there was a song on there called Smokin', which was the flip side of More Than a Feeling on the 45, because I had that too. And, I'm trying to bang out these drum riffs. Well, Mother Mary would come by and, oh, no, Dave, that's too much, because I didn't know what I was doing at 8. And so that went bye-byes really quick. And, things just progressed, and I started, and that's all I did was listening to music. And kind of moving fast forward here, I got started on saxophone, and which I should have kept doing. And that was about 13, 14 like that. So mom and dad thought, well, let's get Dave a saxophone. And we set up the lessons, and I'd go to this cat's house to learn, and he was a known guy. This was Northeast Ohio, so he's teaching me the sax, and he's trying to teach me theory, kind of, and have a book like Mel Bay with the guitar. So I had to learn the theory and everything, and it was hard. I couldn't, from my mom playing the piano and listening to her, every good boy does fine. I had the notes, I could read that, but I couldn't, put this together like that. So when he'd send me home for a practice, I'd try to learn the lesson, and I'd look over to my right, and I was distracted, and I turned off Y100, which was a Miami station at the time, and I'd see that Bill Haley and the Comets album or something over there, and I'd put that on the turntable and listen to that saxophone. So I would learn, I'm swinging to that, and I'm not learning the lesson. So when I go back to the lesson the following week, he hears me warm up with that, and he says, "No, where'd you get that from?" "Oh, I just learned it from an album, and I'm proud of it, Yeah. No, that's not what we do, so you can't do that. Anywho, go back, the following week, I'm listening to more. Now I'm going to Boots Randolph, was a sax player, played on
Yakety sax?
That's right, brother. And a lot of Elvis records and stuff like that.
I met Boots Randolph.
You did?
Yes, cool guy.
Oh, my gosh, that'd have been great. Yeah, he was on so much stuff. But anyway, went back, started playing these Boots riffs. So that didn't go. So he tells me, this ain't going to work. I can't do that. So that's when I realized, okay, I can listen to things. I just could not want to sit there and read it. So it's the ear that I learned. And then from that, I got guitar. That didn't work. Put the sax away and got a guitar when I was about 15. Of course, that changed things there a little bit.
So what instrument you do next?
What's that? After, next?
I'm fucking with you.
Instrument. Juice harp. I got a juice harp at home. That's a good one.
Good.
Or...
So growing up though, right, Dave, is again a lot of. Let's think back to what you talked about, 70s, 80s music, and just being around it, which obviously was your family, but just comparing today the access to music. As think about today, if you were a musician or a kid growing up today, with the access to music, YouTube, or learning. Just the difference between then and now.
Well, honestly, when I started playing guitar, and I could think of the 2 videos I saw on MTV that completely twisted me off, and that's when I decided, because I was stagnant for a while and I came in late. I didn't really pick up guitar until I was 16. And, but to compare it, I am so glad that I learned what I learned in that 80s, mid-80s, because now there's nothing really representing the guitar gods or these things that are out. And I can't, other than blues and maybe some rock guys that are left over, some of my, guys I paid attention to, especially in the, mid 80s and late 80s. But man, to grow up now, if this is your question you're asking, I don't know, it was like when I was starting to play, I would still listen to the Yardbirds and people like that and Little Zeppelin, but, I was still, I would, find a cassette tape of, the New York Dolls or something just to give me, in the 80s, I was still reverting back to that. And then I would catch up to where I was. And like I said, there were 2 pivotal moment when I saw 2 videos that's what smacked me right in the head.
So I guess I was thinking something a little different. You took it a little bit different angle on it. Was more about as today, and we talk a lot about on the show. Excuse me, Kevin does more so obviously being the guitar player is. Yeah, there's his time period, like a lot. If you're a guitar player, you were not a big fan of the 90s, right, with grunge, because there was really no solos. There was no guitarist and God, whatever, for kids to kind of look up to, like in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and the 90s stopped. And I don't know, is it back? But I think, like I said, where you went with it was more about growing up today and not being able to look at those contemporary as opposed to having to go back further to influences and references, like you mentioned there. Yeah. So, yeah.
I don't know. Is it back is a good question. Is guitar back in popular music?
Well, hold on. I know Devin's off mic, and, again, I'll ask this question is, contemporary music today, let's just say rock, whatever rock is today, is there guitar?
Is there rock today?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not in the top 20.
Yeah.
Hell, remember we were looking at the blues charts, the blues Billboard list? Who was it we were talking about? Was on it? Was it?
Anymore, I think that the charts are just manipulated. I think that all you need to do is pay a certain amount of money and you get that chart position.
Hosier?
Hosier. Yeah, he's got guitar and his stuff.
Okay.
Like when Lenny Kravitz came out not that long ago, and a lot of guitar oriented stuff. But music is cyclical. Trends. Calio is another one. Yeah, Icelandic rock.
But I think maybe going to tie
But
back
what
to
I'm saying is music has trends, and when things go in far enough in a certain direction, there's a backlash.
Okay.
And the prominence of guitar in the top 40 has been not there for a long time, and I can feel it coming back.
Okay.
Well, you could be at you just listen to I'm an 80s girl as well. Any Van Halen song. If any band around this area breaks out into a little Eddie Van Halen lead, people go freaking nuts.
Everybody loves guitar.
They're not
like nobody plays air
not
keyboard.
Tired of it, they just go nuts, and so there's still that love for it. And then one of the things that I love about when we're on stage, when Dave plays, he brings that essence back into the arena, and it's like, we're not playing Eddie Vedder, we're not playing Eddie Van Halen, we're not playing the crazy like hairband stuff, but he brings that essence back into it. And so we may be playing blues,
right,
but there's an element that everyone's going to relate to when he steps up on the stage, and it's just like he's a show.
Exactly, and that was at the Blues Blast, right? We're watching Cedric. Cedric was, and then all of a sudden it's like pass the guitar to the next guitar player, and you're running around and.
By the way, I have the video of the passing, and it went from Dave, and then the strap issue, right? And then it went to you. So I have that video. I got to send it to you.
That would be great.
It's very good.
It's so nice. It was so smooth. He stepped off the stage, and he's just such a humble human being.
And we had no idea that was going to
nothing.
happen.
Spontaneous.
And that's why I could just, I just gave him a big
but
hug.
It shot the energy in the room to the ceiling. It was just like people were like, "Oh, this is what authentic musicians do."
It's entertaining. It's more than, like you said last week, was put your phone down because you're going to miss.
Right.
You're listening to the music, but you're not. There's other stuff that's going on.
Yeah, I was watching the show, and Cedric walked out in the crowd, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, Cedric's playing a great solo. And he steps up on the stage without his guitar. I'm like, what? And then I'm looking around, and Dave is playing that great solo.
Yeah.
And then you were like, hey, I got to get on this game.
Well, Cedric was like,
okay, pick me
I'm
up.
like, no. He's like, yeah, come on.
No, but I have the video, and
she's got all of it.
It's beautiful.
Oh, that's
it's
way
really
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, that was interesting for sure. And thank you for passing.
And that was,
cool.
I think
My
that was
pleasure,
a
absolutely.
really, really beautiful explanation as how the blues community works together. Like, I don't know if you would see it in other genres of music, But it was this graciousness of Cedric stepping off the stage and everybody. I mean, like, we were so happy to be a part of that and kicking it off. But it's always like you don't know how you're gonna. People are like, "You were great," and then the Cedric gets on stage, and then you're just like, poof, dust in the wind, or not. And then he brought it all back into center because he walked down, and everybody who was there saw Dave on stage, and they got to see Dave in a different light. And then Kevin, who they hadn't even seen yet on stage, if it was their first time being there or seeing anything,
Right.
like it was a community effort. It was so beautiful. It was so magical. And like, if you missed it, I'm sorry, you missed it.
Yeah.
It was really great. But
there will be another big blues blast.
I'll send you the video, and maybe you can add that.
Yeah,
to
that
your-
would be great. I
Yeah.
would love to see that.
So just the exposure to music, and again, it shapes how we different things along the way, and sometimes you get exposed at a different point of meeting somebody or making new bandmates or getting exposed. And I think for us, I think that the time of most of us are fairly all in same age as that, growing up with MTV. I mean, so we're talking again the influence of MTV.
We're not old.
No, yeah, that's right.
He's old,
Yes,
but we're
I'm
not old.
I'm old.
Don't let the old man in, or the old woman. Don't let them in.
Why'd you point to me when you said that?
If you hear that, leave the door shut.
There you go. I'll keep that door locked from now on.
All right.
But just growing up, for us, there was no YouTube. There's no all this other streaming service that was today. It just referenced a some social media post about how to learn music in the '80s. And it was a guy who was sitting around one of those boombox tape recorders, stopping, rewind, stopping, and
Or lifting the needle and moving it back.
Right,
Lifting
yeah.
the needle, moving it back.
yeah.
So I always think that, like, if I can, because like I'm a very spiritual person, and I came to this conclusion that we all come into the house of spirituality, but some of us walk in through the front door, some of us crawling through a window, some of us get dropped through the chimney, and it doesn't really matter how you get into that house. And you can apply that to blues music, you can apply it to spirituality, you can apply it to anything. Like, when you're in the house, nobody cares how you got in. Nobody.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. That's really
nobody cares how you got in, but how you're in. Now you're part of the family, and it's not even like it's just in the level of this beautiful level of acceptance. And I was worried because I was going to be called as a fraud or something like that, but I've been very warmly received, and my bandmates have been like the best as far as cheerleaders go. But yeah, so as long as you walk in, well, who cares how you get in there? As long as you walk into that house,
Yeah.
you are welcome.
Yeah, it's like being in a gated community. Once you're in, everybody can tell you're cool.
No HOA fees, huh?
Yeah, right?
So what do we do about the loofahs? The villages?
Oh, my God.
I
The
thought
villages.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows?
You know what? You know what?
If you know
Don't
the
knock
loofah
it.
code,
The
just
loo-
put it on the...
Yeah.
right
I
in the-
do believe the villages are where blues bands go to retire.
Well,
Wouldn't be a bad thing. The villages rock, man. Have you ever spent any time in the villages?
I have not, but apparently
It's a fun place.
They are pretty crazy. out there.
Shaylin was playing up in the
the Shaylin band was in
Central
the
Florida.
International Blues Challenge the same year as me.
Yep.
And they went in with through the Villages Blues Society.
They have one. They have a society.
Apparently, they have a blues society. Yeah,
Yeah, and they came down. They showed up at the Vero Blues Fest. Was that a few months ago?
They played at Earl's, and they've played around town.
Did they have an STD society in there?
Yeah, they do.
You remember that one?
Yeah,
that story?
yes, they do. Yes,
Okay.
actually, yeah.
Yeah.
But we live in the future. They're just an inoculation, and then you go back to the party.
Gotcha.
Yeah, RFK's taking care of that.
At that point, nobody really cares, right?
Yeah, that's item number one on the agenda. Is make the Emergy Center.
That's
at the
actually
Villages
part of the
bigger.
application process.
Yeah.
So they actually have bands that can go in there?
Every neighborhood
As
has
long
a
as you have an
town
STD,
square.
you're good.
Every neighborhood in the Villages has a town square. In the center of it is a gazebo, and bands play there every weekend.
That's our ticket, man.
And just know
A
what
ticket, yes,
Just
it's
know
a
what
ticket.
loofah color you are.
Loofah?
No, this is. He's fixated with this. Apparently, there's some sort of code if you're a swinger or if you're into whatever you're into. There's a different. You hang a different color
Well,
shower
they had that
sponge.
for teenagers with the little colored bracelets.
Hold on, let's go to the Gen Z. Okay, Devin.
Paul is correct. I can confirm that's real.
Okay.
Speaking to his can of Red Bull.
So if I'm wearing all black, crystal.
No, you got to hang a certain kind
The
of
bracelet
shower
thing is
sponge off of your golf cart.
The bracelet thing used to be true, but is outdated.
Are you calling me old?
No.
It's okay.
Yeah, work your way out of that, Devin.
We're good. No, I love my mom. Yeah.
Look at
there
it.
you go.
Like fourth on the list here when I typed in villages, it came up the villages loofah color.
Shut up.
So, are you, Robin? Are you ready for a black loofah color that you're wearing there on your
I'm
wrist?
afraid.
You gotta
Okay.
have a black loofah. All right, so yes, let's hear the definitive list of the meanings of the. So this is the those little round things that you hang in the shower. You hang it from
Your car,
the
golf
roof
cart,
of your
whatever.
golf cart,
Right.
And then what is
So
it?
here's the list of the top 10 list of villages colors.
Do do do.
White, you are novice or beginner. Purple, you're voyeur and people who like to watch.
Yeah, boy.
Pink, soft swap, people who like to do it with others in the room. Blue, lowest level of full swap, those who can play well with others. Yellow, mid-level swap, for those who want to have fun but are still nervous. Black, full swap,
Oh shit.
those who say, what the hell, let it all go down.
There you go.
Teal, bisexual, for those who want to increase their dating chances. And there you have it, the villages loofah color code.
Yeah.
Seriously, on the
Did
side.
they pin that up on a bulletin?
Bed Bath and Beyond has like a giant loofah section in Ocala.
That's right. It's
The shelves are empty.
But I think Dave was asking some serious questions here about getting gigs at the, now after this, I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's
No,
making.
I'll play anywhere, anytime. No, I just didn't know they had those there. It's interesting. And
The villages are, it's a 55 and over community.
Have you been there to play yourself?
No, but I've been there.
Okay.
And
What color?
Oh, really? Inquiring minds want to know.
that's for the what is it? What do we have? An only air conditioners?
Yes,
channel?
only, only Kevin's.
Only Kevin's. No, it's actually a really cool place. Everywhere has its under loofah ground, but it is. I mean, the villages are. It's a giant area in Florida, and it's a 55 plus community, and everybody's cool. Everybody parties. Everybody has a good time. Imagine there's nobody but fun people hanging out everywhere you look for hundreds of miles.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something to consider.
Yeah, I've gone under the bridge when you're on the turnpike. I see the golf carts and all these people
Yeah.
Yeah,
going over. Yeah.
It is
This is what Florida is all about.
20 miles south of Ocala, 45 miles northwest of Orlando. The CDP, I guess its census designated place is what it's referred to as. The CDP has a population of almost 80,000 as of the 2020 census.
80,000 villagers. The village people, as they call
Yeah.
them.
I was trying to think of what today's version is now of the loofahs and the white bracelets, but I'm pretty sure it's just like emojis.
No, you walk up to somebody and say, "Hey, are you a swinger or
I
what?"
think they just say
No.
it locally. Yeah.
I just envision the technological capacity of those who live in the villages are far surpassing anybody who's here in Jupiter. Like they need to know now what's going down. Like who's playing, who's touching, who's not.
Yeah.
Like
And it's you set your boundaries with your loofah, and you only get dealt with in the way that you
I'm
want
just
to.
trying to figure out the whole loofah thing. Like
So
that-
think about it just as most of them probably were boomers, right? Who retired, who used to be the hippies in the 60s.
Right.
So why would you not go hang out in a place
Yeah.
and live with community and listen to music and
Sure.
do whatever,
The generation of free love.
right? And Viagra.
Yeah. No, free love. Yeah, free love only costs $20 a pill now.
I heard when you cross into the villages, the gate goes up and they hand you a packet of that.
Really?
A packet of Viagra.
Yeah.
So
Oh, well.
Like
Well-
it's
Now
like
we know.
a welcome gift.
all I've got is dots. So,
How do you know they're dots?
well, you subscribe to the Only Kevin's channel.
There
There you go. Give it a shot.
Oh, your aim is off.
Listen,
I know it fell on the floor the last time. Everyone was
You gotta-
making fun of me, but I was like building my immunity.
Did you guys eat dinner? Or I mean,
No.
you haven't.
No, I've never
hungry?
eaten dots in my entire life.
I'll tell you this:
Really?
the last time we sat and ate candy on a podcast, it didn't turn out very good at the end. So,
Would you like to give me? Would you like me to give you a Dr. Seuss limerick about being hungry?
Absolutely.
yes, absolutely.
Well, then here we go.
This may be a new
hungry,
segment.
hungry. I am hungry. Table, table. Here I come. I could eat a goose moose burger, 15 pickles and a purple plum. I could eat 3 bowls of goulash, half a pound of whizzled wheat. I could eat a peck of poobers, and I'd really get to work and eat. Oysters, noodles, strawberry strudels, chocolate mush mush, super sweet. Lamb chops, wham chops, watermelon whoosh whoosh. All the stuff that I could eat. Deep dish rhubarb, upside down cake. I could eat a flittered flume. Hungry, hungry. I am starving. Give me those box of dots. Here I come. Thank you.
There you go.
I'll be here all week, folks.
I'm
is
telling you
awesome.
what, that's like the kind of undercover stuff that you will find at a Lunatics show.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So if we got a bigger studio, we need like an in-house band, and this should be these guys, just hanging out with them.
Oh, we could set it up just like the David Letterman show.
That's right.
We have top session players that run the band.
And I'll have the stupid, instead of stupid, pet tricks,
Human
we'll have
tricks?
Stupid human tricks.
Yeah, we'll have stupid Kevin
We
tricks.
can have stupid ghost tricks and make Devin do all kinds of weird stuff.
Oh, I like that idea. Yes.
Are you sure about that?
Yes.
Positive. And I'll have a bartender. Robin will be able to do the bartending some of the time.
That's right. And sing and shake.
I was a former table dancer in my past life. So
There you go.
Last week.
Your past life.
I thought we were not going to bring that up.
Your past life ended like every second ago.
I know. Every second.
So, but yeah, Dave, we are hungry. We usually end up at the ale house after
All right.
tapings.
So you're good. You're hooked up.
So one of the things that we do in the show is we review music.
Ah,
And what we do is we don't review it as to whether or not it's good or bad. We review the song as to whether or not it's the riff or the rhythm that makes the song good. And so we have spent a lot of time preparing for this, and we've decided to go ahead, because what we do is we promote Florida original music.
I love it.
And thanks to the good and persistent work of Paul here, the Riffs and Rhythms podcast has become the official podcast of the Treasure Coast Blues Society.
Nice.
Hold
Yep.
on.
Right on time. So there's a lot of great blues players in Florida, of which Selwyn Birchwood is one of them. Alligator Records recording artist. And one of the things that I got to do when I was up in Memphis for the International Blues Challenge is I got to meet with some record industry professionals, one of which was the president of Alligator Records. Sat down and had a good long conversation with the guy. And I learned a lot. And one of the things that he talked about was marketing merch. And he said, of all the artists that we've got on the label, the best at selling merch at the gig is Selwyn Birchwood.
Really?
And apparently what he was talking about is that Selwyn made like a little, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a shadow box, like a little stage with spotlights, this big. And his current CD is on the stage. So it's there on the front of the stage at all times throughout the show, so that as people are watching the show in their vision at all times is his latest release. So he's like, they go by it.
Yeah,
It's clever.
very smart.
Yeah. There was some other stuff that someone does. I can't remember exactly. But what we're going to do is we're going to listen to Selwyn Birchwood with his song Done Crying.
So where's he located? Where roughly?
I'm not sure, but I believe he's based on the west coast of Florida.
Okay. Okay. All right, here we go.
I'm just going to close my eyes. I'm not going to watch it.
If I have to buy me a silver spade to bury all the love that we made, I wouldn't leave a single trace. And I'd plant dead flowers on their grave. I had my ambitions and you had yours, except you kept them behind closed doors, under sheets of lies and a bed of lust. It didn't take too long for you to break my trust. If you wanna give yourself away, that's fine. It's my fault to think you were mine on mine.
Great voice.
Guess
Digging
it's
it,
just
yeah.
a matter of time. Well, I tell you one thing, pretty baby, Lord, I'm done crying. I'm done crying.
This voice.
I leave you to fend for yourself. You made it clear you don't need nobody else. I was there to catch you, but now that I'm gone, you only have your arrogance to break your fall. And when you point that finger to blame, you'll see no one cares to share your pain. When you throw out the good people to the flames, there's only darkness to take their
So he's
place.
not
If you
pick-
wanna
he's not
give
using a
yourself
pick.
away,
Right.
that's
So
fine.
you guys tell me, what is the distinct between not playing a pick and the way he's playing just finger picking, or how does that make a
It's
difference?
artistic experience. We'll talk about it after.
I tell you one thing, pretty baby, Lord, I'm done crying. I'm done crying. If you wanna give yourself away, that's fine. It's my fault to think you were mine on mine. Yes, it's just a matter of time. I tell you one thing, pretty baby. I tell you one thing, pretty baby. I tell you one thing, pretty baby, Lord, I'm done crying. I'm done crying. I'm done crying. I'm done crying.
Stuff.
Wow. Yes.
I could s-
Right?
I could sit and listen to that all day.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Good job, Selwyn.
Yeah.
There was some blues jam, some blues in the park in Atlanta. I was up there. I was escaping a hurricane here in Florida, and I have a bad habit of saying, "I'm getting on a plane. Don't care where I'm going. Don't know when I'm coming back. But I'm not going to hang out.
That sounds like a lyric.
I'm not going to hang out here." So I wound up in Atlanta that weekend, and the last night that we were there, we walked down to the park, and he was playing, and it like nobody knew who he was. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it. I think it makes the picking like Jake Walden does. You know, it's like draws the audience in for those intimate, that kind of blues. It just draws you in, and he makes it look so easy. Because I try and do the same thing, and it just doesn't come out the same way.
It's almost like it looks like it's a flicking motion and then pulls up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, it's percussive, first of all. So that's where I'm, the fact that he's playing clean, I love, because I play very clean. A tube guy, right? I have things biased very clean, and then, I go from there with it. So that got my attention right there. So, yeah, to answer your question on the pick, the attack would have been different, but his upstrokes, it's very percussive.
Very percussive, very rhythmic.
So there's where we're going to get into the riff or rhythm.
Yeah.
But
I'm
it's awesome.
more the rhythm of it, because I don't know but I don't really know what he said, but
So what do you think, Dave? Riff or rhythm makes this?
Well,
song?
man, that's pretty rhythmic. I mean, the riff is in there. You can certainly hear it because he's doing both. Kind of, it's at the same time. That's that's an awesome way to be. I've worked on that for years, and then singing at the same time and keeping that rhythm. Man, I got to say, it's that's pretty rhythmic.
yeah.
I mean, the riff is there
Yeah.
because I hear it in my head. I can still
Right.
hear it. So, but I don't know. It's rhythmic, man.
I can't disagree with that. Again, I always intentionally try to make sure I'm not going straight to the rhythm to really try to give myself the benefit of listen to the riff, right? I like that whole little part. It's like so I can hear the riff, like you're saying. I said I was really picking up on that, and the percussive part. Yeah, I hear it. Watch the video there. Maybe I wasn't picking up on much of that, right? And maybe because I don't maybe understand that part of the guitar playing it is percussive. So I'm gonna go with the rhythm. I've kind of picked up on the rhythm there. I'm sorry, riff. I really like that the little licks they was putting in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at first I was thinking the rhythm, because it's blues, it's very, there's only so much. But as about halfway through the song, I start picking up on the rhythm, So I would say
fair.
riff.
I think being a chick, like this is gonna sound so horrible, like repetitiveness gets annoying for women, and so like you can keep me with you with a rhythm anytime, but if that riff like can kind of turn into a cheese grater. Like you forget that the cheese that's being shredded for you is right underneath. But I don't know. Like after a while, it kind of became a little bit annoying.
The riff did.
Yeah,
Okay.
not annoying, but it's just like I was more into the what was doing to my body.
Okay.
It was an awesome
yeah.
vibe of great
It's
groove.
such a groove.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, we started off the start of this was I was saying, yeah, are you setting me up here where you got a soloist, guitarist that are playing? It's like, okay, I said, where's the drummer? Where's the? But as we've learned, see on the show many times, it's that rhythm can be played on the guitar and how.
Well, he can
very
clearly
percussive.
hold his own. I mean, he
Yeah.
could sit by himself like you just saw and play rhythm and keep your attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all kind of in there. So that's the way to be. That's a good.
So we,
I
Good
guess
balance.
I'm a little. I lean towards because Dave holds the rhythm. We're a guitar, we're a bass and a drum. We're really a three-piece, and so Dave is holding court. He's doing the rhythm. He's doing the lead. He's doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And like for a three-piece band, but people see four on stage. When Cedric gets up and you're like, man, look at that, three pieces, and they're freaking tight. But I mean, and I'm just a voice. I say I'm just a voice, but like I really load into Dave is holding court. He's doing the rhythm. He's doing the lead at the same time.
Right.
And that like so, I guess like you can be a lead guitar player, but can you hold the rhythm at the same time? It's like really
that's a thing.
It's a mastery, and I never ever walk up the stage. Maybe I don't say to Dave enough. I think maybe I take it for granted a little bit, but he is holding court. He's really holding all the monkeys in the palm of his hand on the stage, because the drummer and the bass they lock in, but he's if he breaks a string, he doesn't even make it noticeable. So he's holding court the whole time, and he's got the rhythm. And if he's trying to tune while he's playing, which he does a lot, he just makes it part of the show, and it's like really cool that he's able to do that.
Well, that's very nice of you, Robin. Thank you so much. But I will say to you,
the check is going to clear.
Okay, the rhythm side and why and the reason why I think she picked that. If you listen to her play acoustic, which is she's very good rhythmically. Very good. So, and
Didn't know you could play guitar.
Oh, well, of course, yeah, acoustic. Yeah, I mean, but that's what one thing you'll notice with her is the rhythm. Is we do the Susan Tedeschi tune or some of those. Or
I've
you got a
always,
lot of rhythm.
I thank you, Dave.
Well, yes.
I appreciate that. No, I mean in my duo, I was the rhythm person.
Yep.
And I have a tendency to be as an acoustic rhythm guitar player a little hard. But to me, that was like I'm being the bass, I'm being the percussion, I'm being the chick. I mean, like but I really enjoy the rhythm. Like I think that there's something that has to do with that, and so I guess I gravitate towards something that keeps my attention. ADD poster child of America. I need to have.
Yeah, rhythm is key. Without rhythm, there can be no groove. There can be no music without rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, rhythm's important.
Yeah, that was a good example.
Yeah.
There.
So
Yeah, he had it all going on.
Yep.
So all right. Well, hey, he's now part of our ecosystem or
Now part of
multiverse.
the multiverse.
I can't wait to have you guys interview him.
Yeah, we got to get him in here.
Yeah. So part of the festival, man. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Never know.
That would
Never
be
know.
cool.
So, Devin, did you get a chance to listen to that tune much? What's your thoughts?
Definitely rhythm for me as well.
Oh, Devin, you're into the
But
rhythm?
I
Very
also
good.
want to consider the fact that we listen to a one-man recorded, one-man version of the song rather than.
Hey, can we just for comparison? Can we listen to like just the intro from the full band? That would be a cool comparison. See
yeah.
how
Let's see
he
here.
held it down compared to the whole band.
All right. So we're going to
There
go
it
ahead.
is. All right.
So for listening on the podcast, we're going back to the video here.
Listen to the same song, full band album
Full band, yeah.
version.
Yeah. Here we go. Yep.
Yeah.
I kind of like the solo guitar version better.
I do too.
It's too much.
There's
Too much.
no rhythm and there is no.
Buy me a silver spade
Still big voice though.
to bury all the love.
It's his voice in this version.
I wouldn't leave a single trace. And I'd plant that
we can stop it right there.
on that grave.
I like the solo guitar version way better.
So much better.
Stripped down. Yeah.
So much better.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
just clearly, well played horns, great arrangement, awesome blues tune. But
We took
Less is more.
We took a song that I wrote. We were for the blues competition, and Dave had written 3 of the 4 songs that we were going to play, and we were kind of in this like, we need one more song, and Dave looks at me and he goes, "Robin, what about your songs? All 4 of them? like which one are we going to pick?" And he goes, the one about menopause.
I remember you guys played that.
And I played it for a couple of years with my ex-husband, and it's a song about having a hot flash, and it was a blues song, and I'm like, because I'm feeling the blues, and I said, "Dave, are you kidding me? Like, you really want to take this song and create it for something for the competition?" He's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And so many people had heard the song acoustically, just me and that man. And when we brought it to the stage for the blues competition, it was such a completely different animal. And it was powerful, and people were coming up to me afterwards, like all these women, be like, "I totally feel you, sister. Oh my God!" Like, I finally felt like I could sing the blues because of menopause, and like that connected me to the blues community because of menopause. But you take 3 Scorpio men, who without a doubt say, "Yeah, we're doing this song." I thought that was really powerful. It was a breakthrough.
Yeah, that's
Cool. Yeah, I liked it. It was a great song.
Thanks.
women can have blues too. Probably a lot more than men. You know?
Well, that's generous of you, Paul. Good job.
Making leaps in humanity here.
Yeah,
on this podcast.
You have more shit to be complaining about than men do, right? These motherfucking guys, I got to do all the whatever.
You know what the funny thing about it was? It had nothing to do with any of you men, but it's okay.
So I didn't hear a song, but I'll have to check it out though. This song that you're talking about there, but I'm thinking about how it could be totally like a riff on man-o-pause. Taking a pause on men and going through that.
I kind of equated it to a man leaving a woman, the same way that estrogen leaves a woman.
Okay.
Hence the name, estrogen. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll send you the lyrics.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Like sing it to your partner.
I'll sing it to Kevin.
Pretend that you can relate.
Are you going through anything right now, Kevin?
Yes. Revulsion.
Are you having some hot flashes right now?
Yeah.
So,
Oh,
cool.
that's hot.
So, all right. So there we go. So we've got mostly all rhythms on this one then.
Yeah.
A little bit of 50-50-ish almost, I think it was. Right? Robin, you said?
I said rhythm on
Rather,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I'm riff, but
Okay. So, yeah.
I didn't hear the riff in the live version as strongly.
No.
And I actually didn't even hear the rhythm. In the
there's a
live
lot
version.
going on
And,
with that,
and
yeah.
the band, it was like kind of mushy.
Yeah.
well, it's a great arrangement, and it is a well recorded and well arranged album. But I really like the solo guitar version.
Do you know what RIF stands for, Kevin?
I do not. What does it stand for?
Reading is fundamental.
What about the second F?
We don't count that one right now.
Fuck it.
That'll
Yeah.
ruin it.
Fucking fundamental.
Fucking
Yeah,
fundamental.
it's fucking,
Fucking fundamental.
reading is fucking fundamental.
Yeah, where's LeVar Burton when we need him in his reading rainbow?
I know. Where's your other F, LeVar?
He can't see it because he's got those.
He's got a banana clip on his head. All right, anyway.
Like a slow burn on that Star Trek reference. All right, so yeah, so we got another again like last week here. You've got any good stories, road stories there to kind of kick back and remember some of those hair days that Dave you were talking about? Or,
You got to tap into his hair
Speaking
days.
of, well, hold
Yeah,
on here. Let's
so-
get in.
Do you have photos?
Let's get in character here. Sue.
Exhibit A.
Oh,
my
I love it.
Wow,
I
this
love
is
it.
this is the, no.
That's you?
Yes, we want. Wait. We're gonna have to get a Sharpie. We're signing this. It's going.
is
Stay in the
not
room.
you.
Well, wait a
Yes.
minute. This might be my only one. I got to see.
Oh,
Can I
okay.
see that?
There was a big poster of this at one point. Yeah. So yeah, that's the real hair.
Are
that
you
was
wearing
frosted.
eyeliner?
Oh, of course.
Of course you are.
And lip gloss.
Oh, my.
No, see, that's what happens when you get into mom's eyeliner, and I use the Aquanet and everything else.
That's insane.
It's great.
But that is 80s, 100%.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
late in. I carried that in the early '90s, and then when I went a little more street, when I was playing with another
you
group.
wanna
Yeah,
see
that's
this in
world class,
person?
man.
Actually, well, wait, hold on. Let me see what we got. We
But
got
wait,
an
there's more.
We got an old flyer.
You look
here.
like a cross between Warren Crosby and Warren DeMartini.
Warren
Robin
Now,
Crosby and
Warren DeMartini is one of my favorites. So if you come to a Lunatics, you'll hear a little You'll hear a
Little rat.
oh yeah, there we go. There's a
Oh,
little,
look at you, front and center.
look at them posting.
Oh,
there.
look
You
at that. There you
can
go.
work that one
Pretty.
in a
Oh,
little
that's
bit.
definitely yes.
The Betsy Blitz.
I was a huge Poison fan back in the day, Motley Crue. And if you wore eyeliner, like Peter Gabriel, David Bowie, Michael Jackson, like you were totally in my wheelhouse.
Looks a little bit like Enough's Enough in there with some of those glasses that those guys.
Sebastian
Yep.
Bach. Like, oh, look
Chips
at that.
enough. Yep.
Didn't you tour with Sebastian Bach?
No. I saw no, nothing like that. He was. What do you see there? What's going on?
The promotion is swallow this: 50-cent wine, beer, and well drinks until midnight.
Yes. Well, our PO box was called Betsy's Box. So yes, so we.
So the name of the band was Heavens to Betsy.
Heavens to Betsy. Yeah.
Betsy's Box.
Well, the
Heavens
PO
to
box. was,
Betsy.
yeah.
The FBI. That's a classic place.
Do you know what I'm talking? You know the place?
And I've never I know of it.
Well,
but,
Orlando
yeah.
back in the day,
Oh,
so was
yeah.
South Florida was great, man. I mean, I was all over the place down there and hearing people and the Button South back in the and summers on the beach and all that. But Orlando,
Pick up a copy of Heavens to Betsy's self-titled tape.
yeah, we had 2 songs that was on the radio locally with that particular group. But yeah, it was fun, the typical stuff. And we opened up for a lot of different people and met a lot of different people. And the one big place was the station.
I remember the station.
Yeah.
You do. And in Orlando, and that was a big deal to play there. One night, I'm in there, and we play a Thunder Thursday, they called it. Wednesday night, there was a band in there.
It had a thighs contest, right?
It had what?
Thunder Thursday and the thighs contest.
Yeah, it's a big girl night.
A big girl.
There you go.
Well, they made the club 18 and up. So we would have, during this time, we do the flyer wars, right? So we'd put the flyers and cover, just like L.A., man. It all
Right.
drifted
Stapler.
everywhere. Everywhere there was a main city, man, you could hit the flyers. So a lot of cool bands coming out of that area. So that one night, Thursday, we're getting ready to play, and we go and do a sound check in that club, the station. Well, there was a band that was in there the night before. And when we got in there, there was fluids and all kinds of crap all over the stage. Well, that band was called Marilyn Manson and the Spooky Kids. Okay.
Okay.
So
They're a Florida band.
they were Miami.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Oddly enough, Brian, all right, Marilyn is from Canton, Ohio, where I'm from. And we graduated a year apart.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we didn't, this wasn't connected till later in the years. But anyway, so they play. They're just a local. They come up to play. They're not signed or anything, but they're called the Spooky Kids at that time. And very dark. They look like they just stepped out of a crypt. Man, we're all still eyeliners and silk shirts and shit. So it's 2 different worlds, right? One's dark and matter of opinion, what you liked at the time, But I mean, we were opening up for King's X and the Bullet Boys and these guys that are just, Steel Hearts and Kick Tracy and just some great, good rock hair bands. But these cats, the Spooky Kids, Marilyn Manson, this wasn't my cup of tea. Anywho, that next night, Twiggy Ramirez, who was the bass player at the time, real tall guy, pale white, we started talking and stuff. And so he invited me to one of their rehearsals in Castleberry, which was near in a warehouse. What was that? There was a recording Full Sail or something.
Yeah.
Something out there. Okay. There's a metal band called Iced Earth playing,
Yep.
and now that drummer went on to Stern. I think I can't remember his name. But-
Richard Christie.
Yes. They would rehearse there. Anywho, Twiggy would say to me, "Come over. We're looking for a guitar player. So why don't you come over, this week, and we're going to be rehearsing over there." And it was like, and I didn't know these cats from anything else, but I always wondered if I would have went to that rehearsal. Would I had a first, movie star's first name and a mass murderer's last name, because that's what they did. That's the premise of the band. They use movie star first names and serial killers and stuff.
What would your name have been?
Well, I don't know. It's whatever they would have gave me, But it wasn't my thing. It too dark.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I like the melodic stuff. We all heard that stuff at the.
So this is
White Snake.
We're
It'll be
talking.
Elvis Bundy.
Well,
a
Bundy,
great-
I think, was already one of their.
I was thinking
really?
about
guys.
Cher
Yeah,
Gacy.
Elvis Bundy.
Cher Gacy.
Yeah. Okay.
John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
And Twiggy Ramirez, of course. No, it could have been Natalie Dahmer. I don't know. But it was just, I always wondered if I went.
Yeah.
It just wasn't my thing, man. But it was just, and then, a couple years later, I'm doing, sit-ups on my living room floor at 4 a.m. in 1994, and I see the Sweet Dreams video that they redid. And very dark and very scary. And I'm like, okay, there they are. And then there you go. So it's funny how that all works.
Fast forward to now, and we do Sweet Dreams.
Yeah, we do
Okay.
Sweet Dreams, but
Okay.
not like them.
Not like
It's
them.
a rockabilly time.
Yeah.
now.
So what you're talking about is, like you said, 94 was when that song came out. And what you're probably talking about is like super early 90s or at least late 80s, right?
Yeah, that's that. They
Yeah.
got signed in
Yeah.
about 93 and 94 because I made a big transition in my life at that point. And that's when I saw the video, like early in the morning on MTV. So at that time, things were getting a little,
Yeah.
that's
Changing.
Things
Right.
changed overnight.
Right, and we
man.
were talking about this a couple of weeks ago with
Overnight.
Bobby and Jim, right? Is how when metal and
Right.
hair metal
Right.
or whatever levels of metal
It got
changed,
erased
it was
with a
all
big
of
flannel rag.
Yes,
Right.
it was.
Yeah.
Everybody looking down at their
Right.
shoes and everything else.
Yeah,
But,
but with these guys, we're a little different than the grunge. They
Yeah.
were like totally here, and we talked about them because the bill that I always saw them was with Janitorches,
That makes
right?
sense,
Yeah,
right.
So they were always touring with the Spooky Kids, right? Out of Fort Lauderdale
Yeah.
or they have South Florida.
and he'd have old 70s lunch boxes in
Yep.
a circle, and he's kicking them around and all that stuff.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
Before they were signed, yeah. Then it went to just regular.
He's back
Maryland.
out. There's a song he's got back out now.
Yeah, he had some legal trouble there about
Yeah.
a year or two ago, and so
Yeah.
if he straightened out. But
yeah.
but it's funny. Yeah, we're from the same town. I know he worked at a pizza shop one point, in high school and all that.
So
stuff.
you can confirm that Marilyn Manson is not the kid from the Wonder Years.
No. What?
What?
Where did that come
You've
from?
never heard that?
No. Which? Oh, you mean the dude with the glasses?
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't
Oh,
him.
no, not Fred.
No, not Fred. Fred's buddy, his best friend.
No,
Yeah.
I know the guy you're
Yeah,
thinking that
yeah.
you could think that way. Nah,
That
not
was
at all.
always the urban legend before really the internet even was a thing or Google or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy. So you knew him when you were in high school.
Well, he was in an adjacent high school to me.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Okay.
we happened to migrate to South
Same.
Florida at the same time. He
Okay.
was working he worked for a magazine called The Rag, and he was doing, you know what I'm talking about?
I sure do.
Okay, so he was doing little editorials, and I got into Saigon Kick when they came out.
Oh,
Great
yeah,
band. And this is what I'm trying to figure out. Okay, what am I going to do next? Am I going to go join the Kentucky Headhunters and become a country rock guy? Which almost Branson was where I was headed to. After I had to strip off, let the hair go down a little bit and go easy on the Aquanet, and so he wrote a great article on Saigon Kick. In fact, I remember the title out of the rag, and it was "Hanoi Rocks, but Saigon Kicks." Which is great. And so he was writing, he was like freelancing and getting, doing opinions at that time. But yeah, we never met up. And I know some of his family back in Canton, Ohio, and his aunt and his dad and all that stuff. But that's as far as it went. No great shakes. But that was just a funny time in my life where if I would have went to that warehouse and plugged in and.
Yeah, who knows?
and you guys
I don't know.
have never met, but
No.
you've circled around close enough that it will always
Yeah,
right?
with him and the bass player. Yeah.
So, well, guess what, Dave? We've got a surprise for you. Welcome, Marilyn Manson.
No!
Hey, what's happening, Marilyn?
Hey.
The beautiful baby.
We'll edit that in
No,
later.
just kidding.
Yeah, post production.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Just funny like that. Yeah. Yep.
man, I don't know.
Greatness with brushes.
Huh? What?
I was going to say brushes with greatness, but it's really just greatness with brushes.
But a funny story, real quick, about the station that I remember was there was a couple, and at that time, it was this group, the Orlando. It was called the Orlando Arena. Bryan Adams played one night. There was a band that opened up called the Storm. I don't know if you remember that, but really good band. It was a couple guys from Journey. So they had a song out called "I've Got a Lot to Learn About Love." Very Perry-ish, but if you want to look that up, great song. I think it hit top 20. They were called the Storm. Greg Raleigh's playing keys, and they might have had One of the guys there was another guy from Journey. So they opened up for Bryan Adams. So we got word that an A&R rep from one of the record companies was coming. I'm thinking it was MCA. And in walks Greg Raleigh and one of the other cats from the band after they played with Bryan Adams. So they're sitting out there at the bar. Well, what happened was our singer at the time, the dude there in the center, he would rent a wireless mic. And we all had Samson wirelesses because we'd run all over the place. Not knowing he got the same frequency as my guitar, which was channel, I think it was 3. Out of all, he'd rent it from a music store called Ace Music. And he'd get that. So John's on bass. He's on a Samson. I'm on a different Samson from him. My guitar bleeds through the vocals, through the PA. Horrid sound. And we're trying to, impress the A&R guy, Greg Raleigh, and whatever other cat standing there with him. Of course, that went down the toilet real quick. So that was the end of that. They walked out. But it just made it, we didn't know, but the same frequency, it just made a horrendous sound, and it was a nightmare, man. But anyway, that's that.
That is a Spinal Tap.
That's a Spinal Tap episode for sure.
That was stupid. But anyway.
Well, I don't have that.
Tilly went up to 11. On
Ace Music, was that not off of the highway?
There was a couple Ace Musics up there, in Orlando.
There was a chain.
Yes, it was. Yeah. But it was a good time and good music at that time, and good bands, especially in South Florida, and Dave Scott was in one called Tough Luck days ago, and there was, the Hollywood Kids, and there was so much, and but a lot of good bands in that area, and a lot of good clubs. But you were probably were you down here all your life?
I've lived in Florida most of my life, yeah.
Okay. So you were probably part of that, yeah?
I was way too young to deal with all that.
Way too young. You're the same age.
Well, yeah. So my thing was, I played in a band, but we didn't really do a whole lot of big club stuff. We were like the top draw band around.
You drew
Fort
the
Pierce.
line at eyeliner.
Oh, well said. Yeah, I never wore any eyeliner, but I got out of playing because I started reproducing, so I decided to take care of my kids.
All right.
So, inconvenient, but I'm glad I did it because it was very rewarding. Still is.
Okay.
But now that my kids are grown and able to take care of themselves, I can go back to paying attention to my musical career. And,
right.
Things are moving along swimmingly.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe try some eyeliner.
No.
No?
No, I don't. No. I'm not too proud to wear some makeup, but eyeliner's not on the list.
Well, you're going on tour, so you can be different.
Yeah, no.
They won't even know.
Eyeliner's not my jam. It's not my jam, as the kids say.
It'll bring out the blue in your eyes.
Oh God, that's the last thing I need.
She's not
Hard enough. Stop it.
She's not giving up.
No, there will be no eyeliner on the UK tour. Just so you know.
But when he gets back, maybe. Anyway, so great story.
Yeah.
So I almost think that you could fit in. This picture here could fit in with Metal Luscious.
Yeah, no question. That is this. I mean, this is high quality '90s regalia right here.
Yes.
This is just as good as anybody on any record at any time in the '90s.
And the great thing is, I still have like the satin shirts and the pants. I still have all that stuff just to have. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I gave up.
I kept it just to put it away, just to keep it.
The last time I wore my spandex pants from the '80s, they actually cut me open, and I gave them away after that.
Yeah, to use the jaws of life.
The waistband was too small, and it literally drew blood around my waist. I'm like, I can't wear these anymore.
Well, those were goofy. Yeah. I mean, leather pants.
I like the spandex pants.
Cool jeans,
I had a lot of fun when I wore my spandex pants.
That wasn't for me. But
I liked it.
anyway.
They're very comfortable. But no eyeliner. Never wore any eyeliner.
I don't know if you can do one without the other, really.
Well, you can. So
I think you're missing out.
possibly. Yeah, but I'm okay with that. You can't do everything.
And going back to that, the showmanship, as if you guys know, I mean, even drummers back then, I mean, was phenomenal. I mean, they just what they did.
Yes.
I mean, you don't see that. I mean, what they can do.
The signature stage moves. Even to this day, I'm on stage. I'm like, all right, I'm going to grab rock pose number 467. And then I'll move over to another spot on the stage. Like, this is rock pose number 262.
Have you seen? You've seen him on.
Oh yeah, he's
Yeah,
all
that's-
over. He's doing it all.
He's like in the rock pose 5078. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
there's a huge book of rock poses.
But every time he walks up to me and he just crosses his eyes, and it's such a surprise.
No, it's just I'm passionate about it, and I love playing with them and her, and and that's what it's about. It's torrential, man.
So I was thinking about this today, about that era of music during the 80s. Now, this is going to be a little tricky for what I'm going to ask. And during that time, was it a lot about people got into going see live music, no matter the amount of quality, I guess, or the craftsmanship? Again, you still have to fairly know how to play your instrument. But you have all the crazy stories of Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, Metallica, all these guys that have been doing nothing but drinking and a heavy party and being able to perform, right, is where how much on the crowd it showed through, or the crowd was okay with letting some of this messiness that may have ensued.
I have an answer for this, and you may feel the same way. Back then, it was more about being part of the scene than what the scene was today, or tomorrow, or yesterday.
Yeah, that's the scene.
I
Being
walked
out
in-
and about and being seen, like back then, there wasn't anything else to do. You'd have to watch reruns of Bonanza. Now, going out is becoming less and less of a thing because you can sit at home and be completely placated with your phone or YouTube or whatever.
I did walk out on
Bubble
Guns.
pop.
I did walk out on a Guns N' Roses concert after the fourth time I went there, and an actual 2.5 hours into it, still wasn't on stage.
Oof.
I was just like Madison Square Garden. I took the trip in from Jersey, and I was like,
You're
I am
kidding.
so fucking done with this. Excuse my language. Sorry. I was so done with it. I just walked out. I'm like, I've seen him enough times. I don't need to see him again.
Yeah, they were known for not showing up sometimes.
Yeah.
That happened to me the one and only time I went to see the Black Crowes. I went and saw them at the Palm Beach Auditorium, the Leaky Teepee, and literally they played a song and a half, and then they stopped in the middle of the second song, and then they all sat down on their monitors and looked back at the drummer, and they were arguing over what song to play next. And I'm like,
You
really?
serious?
They were like, I don't know what was wrong with them. They were drinking, or they were high, or somebody's girlfriend ruined everything for everybody. I don't know what happened, but they were a mess. I'm like, I was there with a friend, and they talked me into going. I'm like, this is the band you've been telling me about. These people suck. They can't even play a show. Yeah. And they almost killed themselves falling off the stage. It was not a good night for them. I mean, I've become a fan since then, but the first time I saw them, I was like, I got no use for this. I'm a musician. You gotta at least be able to play a song if you're gonna charge money for your tickets. Come on.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite all-time concert? Like,
My favorite all-time concert that I've been to. Oh my gosh, that's really hard to say.
My own.
I would say that there are two. The two times when I was the most affected by a live performance was, the first one was B.B. King at the Carefree Theater, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Saw Stevie Ray Vaughan. I saw him a bunch of times, but this one show, what's the venue that they had in Fort Lauderdale where it was like in the semi-round? Anyway, in both cases, it felt like that guitar player picked me up off the ground, crumpled me up like tinfoil, and dropped me back on the ground and said, "Hey, deal with it." It was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, you were fortunate to see him.
what about you?
What I've never seen Vaughn.
No,
I mean,
like, what's your favorite? What was your favorite?
well, BB King was, like he said it. I saw him a year before he passed. That was up in Kent, Ohio, at a college, not the Kent State College, another branch of it. But man, I mean, there's a lot. I'm a big Kenny Wayne Shepherd fan too. So seeing him locally here not that long ago at Sunrise was good. But then even if I go back, I mean, just certain bands that, Warrant was a great live band. Stryper was a great live band.
Stripe.
Yeah, I mean, even with the, they were just a great, tight, good players.
The Sweets.
Yes, the brothers. Yeah, Robert and
Michael.
Yes, and I mean, back I just remember those particular shows standing out. But yeah, in later years, BB King for sure, and I mean those Kenny Wayne.
But you would still go see some of those bands from back then, right?
Now,
Yeah.
I don't know because it's so different. If I pull, Stephen Piercy trying to watch rap.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a DeMartini fan, but
Yeah.
if he's not with him, I'm not that interested.
So we were talking about the show, right? So again, we talked about last episode was seeing Spread Eagle, right?
Yeah, I
and
remember.
again, they came out in the
Remember
early '90s, hard rocking. Again, they kind of were peak. They hit it when that music scene was now changing.
Yep.
Right. So they just missed their mark. But to go see them and even the Genitortures, the scene, these were bands that were touring and big names and shows and all that back in the day. And seeing that they're sitting at their merch table, doing their tour, me able to walk up to these guys and say, "Hey," I said, "I've got this tape." I said, "I saw you in Newark, New Jersey."
Mm-hmm.
Right,
You
in the
had
future.
this all ever since back in the day?
Did
Yes,
you
that's
have you were a gun carrying person back then?
No,
You're brave.
yeah, I lived. Actually, I think I've seen a couple shows in that. It was at the anywhere it was in Newark, but just to be able to see them at that time, and I wasn't sure with Spread Eagle. I think it was a little bit of a downer show because it was a Friday night. I don't know why. Again, most people don't know who these guys were.
Yeah.
They had Maximum. Shit, what the hell's the band? The kid band. Maximum Overdrive, not Maximum. Maximum Distortion. It's a kid band. Great kid band. If you ever get a chance to see them, they're like a metal band. There's a girl that's the lead singer. Anyway, they had another local band that played second, and then they played third, and they still fucking champion like they were playing for 20,000 people. They put on a show. They did the rock poses. They did their things. They did all the antics that you would normally expect. And I'm like, and I text my wife and I said, "Yeah, I'm not quite sure how this is going to," because I always think about the same thing with 80s bands. Like, I don't want to pay the $150 to see a band. These guys can't hit those notes anymore. They're playing a step down. It's a whole totally different show. And I was like, I enjoy myself for my $15-20 at the door to pay for and hang out for the night and relive some of these songs and support. I'm like, sure, I get to relive a little bit of my youth,
Right.
when I was a teenager and going through it. But they performed, they brought it, and did the whole thing. So again, it's kind of seeing those things. That's why I was asking, would you go back and see some of those bands?
It just depends, and I mean, I can't. I'm trying to think the last time I would have seen one, and I would, being in blues, and I've always had that in my back pocket, just because it's always been there, the foundation of everything. That's who I'll lean towards. I'll go see, some of my favorite players. It's blues, if they're coming around. But yeah, the old stuff, I love it. I'll listen to it. I'll put on the White Snake, and I'll put on the Cinderella and all that stuff, and Brittany Fox. And,
Windows down, rocking this girl school.
yes. Oh, girls' school. Yeah. But and that's what I'll do.
Yeah.
I mean, to go see some of the guys. Yeah, I mean, I can think of a few that are still around, and that's actually when you brought up a scene. I mean, there was nothing like that. I mean, you had the '50s movement, right, and then you had the invasion from Britain, in the '60s, but nothing really. The '80s had a good late '80s, early '90s that was a completely different scene, and it's not really other than grunge, but that wasn't the theatrical high entertainment. I don't think.
The 80s seemed like it was designated as such a different early 80s versus late 80s.
Of course,
And somewhere, there was so much music in the range.
Started with disco.
Yeah, right.
Started with disco
Right.
and ended with rap and,
Right.
Yeah.
New wave, and you fit in there, and some of that British stuff that comes
The British,
back in
right.
and
Yep.
came back in, and
Well, also, I think the advancements in technology have it, because that's one of the parts of that was one of the bits of conversation I had with the president of Alligator Records, was like there's no thing anymore. Like music used to be a thing involved.
Yes.
Like there was a record and some pictures, and you could listen to the music and look at the thing,
The liner
and
notes.
enter a world
Yeah.
that was different from your own. Now, with the advent of no thing,
Right.
it's just a stream. Like music has to enter your world,
Yeah.
and
For sure.
that's a reverse.
So we didn't spend we used to spend like a new album would come out, we'd go over to my girlfriend's house. She's like, I just got the Rolling Stones album out, and you go there and you would study it. You'd be laying on the floor, like looking at the front cover and the back cover, and then like you'd switch. I'll read the liner notes while you study the artwork on the front, and then it got to a point it was like, right, I'll listen to it while I'm driving to work. And if it resonates, great. If it doesn't, done. You had nothing else to do back then
Yeah.
but to listen to it over and 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 over. And now today, it's like literally like execution within the first three notes. If it resonates, it doesn't. It's like off with their head, and you just discard it. And so you don't really get to stand a chance today with the music.
I think that I just touched on something, and it really hit a light bulb for me. When there was a thing, we would enter the world that the thing inspired.
Sure.
Now
Right.
music has to enter
To
our world.
That was very, very profound. It really is.
I remember when I was a kid, I would put the headphones on and drop a needle while I was eating my cereal to get ready for school, like listening to music, like as soon as I woke up. And then as soon as school was out, I would go home and I'd get back on the record
Right.
player and play some music. Like now it's just like running in the background and nobody cares.
But you also, if you were artistic, you would take that art that you saw on the cover and take it to school, and you'd be doodling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you
Oh,
would,
yeah.
like your jeans, or your sneakers, or the back of your
bind,
notebook,
yeah.
the binder of your notebook. Like everything became a part of the art and the music that you were listening to, and you were listening to the lyrics, and you were like absorbing the lyrics because you had nothing else to go by. And now it's
Right.
like people don't even care what you're talking about, what you're singing about.
So it's a whole different experience.
It is.
So very cool. So all right. So man, it's been a great episode here. So
Don't tell me we're coming close to the end.
yeah, because I think you've almost ate all the dots, and
Oh, there's plenty
yeah,
of
so-
dots left.
Hey, I got a good box of
Cocoa.
Cocoa Puffs.
telling you,
there.
brother. Yeah. This, Coca-Cola, and then Ritalin. It's a good mix.
Oh my goodness.
It really is.
A generation was raised on that formula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd eat that, then you go out and jump ramps with your Huffy,
Oh,
Right?
Huffy
That's right.
road,
That's right. That's right.
Thunder Road.
your BMX bike.
What was that? What was that? The green machine with that, like that.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
spin.
Oh, the
spin
big
wheel.
wheel. The big wheel.
Spin out.
big wheel, but it was
Yeah.
a big wheel with a
Right, a handbrake.
And a
badass
handbrake.
Yeah, that's right.
And it had a box in the back you could put lunch in and run away from home. Yeah, you put the
You did
sandwiches
that, didn't you?
on the big wheel. Yeah, man.
You ran away from
And that's
home.
what got us into Harleys, right? I
Exactly.
think we're Harley guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Started with the
Yeah, that's funny because I remember I bought my bike and I went to like fill my mom in, and she's like safety nut, so I figured she'd lose her mind altogether. And she was like, "I get that. That sounds like you." I'm like, "Oh, that was easy."
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. So very cool. Where can everybody check out your stuff?
theblunatics.com. We have all of our updated shows that are going on.
not the Bloonatics, not Balloon Addicts.
You know, if you spell it phonetically, it is Bloonatics. It's also Blunatics. So either way, it's a win-win.
Drop the B and what's the word?
Lunatic.
Lunatics. The blunatics.com.
Be a lunatic.
B lunatics.
The Bloonatics.
Yeah.
It's a great name.
There you go.
Thank you.
When they get it right, it's great. And when they don't get it right, it's also great.
So, is there any released Bloonatics music?
I don't know. We put together all the songs that for the
You talking about original?
Yeah.
No, that's what needs to be coming. Just because that's been kind of the new endeavor. Some of the music, and it's just a matter of how we can portray it in terms of blues. Because there's a lot of different influences in our group. I mean, Andy the Hammer there, he likes Rush, and Steve is still, I think, he's got the grunge thing, I think, going a little bit. He kind of likes some of that
You think
rock.
so?
A little bit. I think he likes early 90s. He's a 90s guy. He's
a Rush guy too. He likes
Yeah.
bass forward, obviously.
And of course, you got a different eclectic thing.
I
So
have no idea what I got.
it's if you heard her on guitar, it's very Jewel-ish. Okay, that's what it reminds me of. Great thing, but blues. You don't have to sound like right. So whatever that was, right? You can have a smooth voice and still get the point across that it's blues.
Yeah, when you make that sound, I think of the old black and white Popeye cartoon where Bluto was spitting his jaw into the spittoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just a good sound. There you go.
Oh, that was a little thick, actually.
It's a good sound.
I need a napkin.
But
you
but
get
no,
any on it?
original stuff should be coming. We just and we play it out. I love instrumentals, so we got one called the Romp, and that's got your
that song.
based on some of the influences that I like, and Room Full of Blues and
Okay,
running.
little jump blues.
Jump blues,
Well,
West
we'll
Coast
be
jump.
looking forward to
Yeah.
outpouring of recorded Lunatics music. You guys
Yeah,
have
we'll
good songs.
Looking forward
certainly
to it as
inform.
well.
Yes, we'll inform.
All right, so it comes to this.
That's right. So thanks
Is everybody all shot up?
I'm shot
Robin
out.
is
I'm
not
shot
shot
out.
Uh-oh.
I'm
She's
shot
She's
out.
shot out.
She could share
So
some.
we hook up with Robin?
Beautiful.
Tracy
Gorgeous
rocks. She's
Tracy.
the best.
It's been a pleasure, guys. Absolutely. Thank you
this
so
been-
much for
This
this.
was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what everyone says afterward. They're
I
not
didn't
sure
even
if
have to do a blood sample or
No.
anything. That was great.
Yeah, wait till we turn the camera off.
No use of black light in here, please.
Too much
So
information.
here is to the proliferation of music as an experience.
Well
Salud.
said.
Cheers.
Yes. Oh, there you go.
Thank you, boys.
Thank you, guys. So thanks for tuning in to this podcast episode. Check out all the stuff. You know where to find us. Let's call it.
What should we call it?
Good night.